Hi, thanks for joining us at Garden Hands. I'm Lindsay, and today is part 2 of the memory garden that we're putting in over at my house. So in the previous video, I talked about why we're putting the garden in and how we're going to put it in and the plants that we're going to put in it. We didn't make it very far in the first day. We got about 4 feet excavated, and then it hit 95 degrees and we had to call it a day. So in this video, we're going to walk through how we continued with the project, how family came to the rescue and helped get this project to where it is today. So this is day 2. It is still 95 degrees out and we're still continuing to excavate this rather large flower bed. As I mentioned, family came to the rescue. So Dad had come over, saw how big the project was, and said the skid steer would rip this up super fast. In my head, I wanted to be able to do the project myself, but it would have taken way longer than we had anticipated. This weather was just crazy hot. So he came over and followed the outline of the garden that we made, and it went really fast. It only took maybe 20 minutes to completely lift all of the sod in this area. So that was awesome. I didn't even pay attention to where he was putting the sod that he took up, but I'm guessing it's just in a pile that's located in the woods. So it will compost down and we'll be able to use it as really nice dirt if we have a project that we need to fill in some spots. So that's always nice to have a little bit of dirt laying around that we can use for projects. You're giving him the up sign.
No, you're good.
Okay.
So does this mean good or this means up? This is good. Okay.
Oh, this means up and this is... Apparently he's right here. like a peanut.
What?
Looks like a peanut. Well, that was a whole lot easier than what we did. Right? Now it's done.
It's done.
I like it. So day 3, Morgan and I both had the day off. So she came over and we decided that we would use up the rest of the cardboard that we both had laying around, which probably covered maybe a fifth of this whole flower bed. So we put that down and we put compost on top of that. I also had weed fabric, and not very much of it. It also probably covered about a fifth of the bed. And we decided to put the compost underneath the weed fabric. And then everywhere else we just put a layer of compost. I fully expect that weeds are going to come through that pretty heavily, and next year we'll make sure we add some cardboard to those areas to help suppress some of the weeds. All this compost is going to be great for the soil. Not only do I get rid of it, so it's not just laying around, but it's going to help put some nutrients into the soil, which is going to benefit the plants and keep the soil in good condition. So this went pretty good. Again, it was so hot out, the camera started overheating, which is fine because it's basically a lot of this. We filled up our little cart with compost, we spread it around, and we covered it up. So later on Monday evening, we had our mulch guy come over with a load of mulch. That's actually Dad. And he actually had a little bit of mulch still at the farm, so he brought over 3/4 of a load or so and dumped that on our area that we had already covered up. So that was awesome. I was really excited to be able to have this all mulched. I think that just buttons it up a little bit. And then Mom came over after that, and I wasn't expecting that, and she helped me spread all the mulch around. So that worked out really well. So by Tuesday, my last day of vacation, we had everything with cardboard or weed fabric. Everything was composted, and there was mulch all over everything. That worked out so nicely. Morgan came over again, and we went through and laid out all the plants where I had them originally. We kind of moved things around a little bit, and then we started planting. Again, super hot out, and we didn't film very much of that day at all, which is really unfortunate. It was just so darn hot. We'll get some plants in the ground and then do a tour. So it's been a couple weeks since we got the memory garden dug and plants planted. A few of the spots were a little more bare than I had anticipated, and so I did pick up a few plants. Most of them are perennials, a couple of them are just some petunias that we can put in here for some color this year. So let's get the plants in the ground, and then we'll do a quick little walkthrough. There's been a couple failures or issues that I've had, and then maybe in a month or so we can give you another update, and hopefully things have grown a little bit and it looks a little bit more like a flower bed. Well, the camera wasn't working, but I have about 10 of these little purple petunias over here. They're not the Proven Winners Vista series petunias, so they're not going to fill in this entire side of the flower bed. I think they only get about 1.5 feet wide maybe. So they'll provide some color over on this side, and I think they'll be pretty sweet, especially for 50 cents a plant or something like that. Gotta love your clearance finds. I'm gonna plant a few more of these so that we have a little bit of purple in the rest of the flower bed. All right, so I think I have pretty much everything planted in here that I'm going to plant. We'll do a quick walkthrough. On this far end, I have all the purple petunias that I just planted. And in 5 or so years, this is where the Brunnera and the Shadowlands Diamond Lake hosta. In the back are the 3 limelight hydrangeas. There's one back there. It's not actually that close to the planter, it just looks like it from this angle. Looking at it from the house, the first wave of flowers here, and there's pretty much 2 rows, are the Opening Acts Blush Phlox. I think having 2 rows will actually make it look more like a hedge once they're fully established. And then behind that, I got a great suggestion for a Midnight Masquerade Penstemon. And it has the darker foliage, which I was hoping for. And actually, if you compare it to the phlox, so here's the phlox foliage. It's a little bit thinner and definitely more chartreuse colored. When you go and look at the opening, or when you look at the penstemon, it's got thicker, strappier leaves. They're darker, and the stalks of the penstemon themselves are actually dark, and they will have a lighter purple flower. I have this plant in one other spot in my gardens, and I love it. So that was a great suggestion. Kind of at the end of where the penstemon and the phlox are, there are 2 stakes, and that's where I have the lemonade dahlia. So far I don't see any growth on it, but again, I just planted it 2 weeks ago, so not only was it probably stressed from not being planted, but it hasn't been in the ground all that long. I have the denim and lace sage back here, and it's blooming. It's hard to see it, but there it is, it's blooming. I have some peonies and irises and some of my grandma's glads just kind of tucked in here. I can see a couple of the glads coming up. They're kind of at the top of the screen there. And I actually haven't looked to see if the peonies or the irises have poked through yet. In the front here are a few more of the purple petunias I planted today, and they're going to overlap with one of the failures, and that was the Frosted Fire sedum. So on the right hand side of the screen you can see there's one of them and it's looking great. However, there were 2 others that I planted. One of them got dug up the first night it was here. This is in the middle basically of a field. We have deer, fox, raccoon, and other who knows what other critters running around here. And so moving on beyond the Frosted Fire, I have my crowning glory of the garden, and I have my 3 Princess Charlene de Monaco roses. 2 of them look great. They've been pushing a little bit of new growth. There's not much to look at yet. They are not looking quite as lush as Mom's, but you can see they're here. They're trying. In the back here, we have the Lady in Red 9-bark. And that is looking great. It bounced back after it got hit by all of that heat. And then surprisingly, the yarrow. The terracotta yarrow looks fantastic. Sure, it could be a little bit bigger, but if you saw how crispy crunchy it was when we planted things out here, this is shocking. I know it's a really tough plant. It doesn't need a ton of water and it loves heat, but I really thought that it wasn't going to survive. And actually this one has a bloom on it, or it has buds on it. Look at that. That's exciting. There's our little Fat Albert spruce. He's looking cute. Everything needs a drink today. At the end I have more of the denim and lace Russian sage. In front of Mr. Albert here, I have 3 of these And I think I mispronounced them in the first video after I looked at what they were actually called. Caradonna, maybe? Salvias, I believe. And they're looking good. They're all putting on some green growth. They're not super tall yet, but they're branching out, they're bulking up a little bit. So that's a wrap on the memory garden. It's looking great. I'm really happy with it. Everything turned out fantastic. Got a little bit of a critter problem, but we'll try and manage that. Huge shout out to all of my family for helping so much with this. Kevin was out here early helping me dig as we started this project. Big shout out to my dad who came and rescued us from having to shovel this entire thing. So that was really nice to get that done. And for bringing a load of mulch over, that really buttoned up the whole project. Looks really nice, fully mulched. Thanks to my sister, she came over a couple of mornings on her days off, and she's so far only been involved in projects where she is involved in sitting in, digging in, or moving compost. So maybe we'll get her out here for a video that's a little bit more fun than that, but she put in a lot of hot, sweaty hours over here as well. So thank you to her and helping me get all of these plants in the ground. And thanks to my mom who showed up on the last day of the project and helped me put all the mulch on. That was really fantastic. That would have taken me a lot longer had she not been here to actually help me get the compost moved and the mulch put in. So thank you to all of my family. Thanks for watching our video. Please hit the like button below, subscribe to our channel, and stay tuned for what we have coming next. Thanks.